Hi guys, how you doing? Adrian here again for session two on your entrepreneurial journey. Last time we looked at the whole issue of business forms, legal forms for your business. We looked at the NGO, we looked at the incorporation, we looked at partnerships and sole proprietorships and all the things you need to kind of think about in terms of that legal aspect of getting your business all started. So I hope you had a great week. Um, Despite being locked down, being at home and stuff, still hope you had a good time with your family and calling friends and that kind of stuff. Let's kind of jump into today's session. So this week we want to look at the whole issue of ideas and your product and how to go about kind of generating those ideas in a way that was meaningful to your customers. So that's what we want to kind of look at and dive right in today. So we're looking at your product source, product ideas, and what makes up your actual product. And it might be, not might be, it will be definitely more than you probably would have first considered or thought about. So, what do you see here, guys? So, we see here television set, probably a nice 55-inch screen, maybe more. WhatsApp, we see KFC. Now, all of these are products that we know pretty well that we use. So pretty much everybody has a TV at home for the most part. I'm pretty sure everybody uses WhatsApp. KFC is universal, but what we don't consider is that there was a point in time where there was no such thing as a flat screen TV. That thing did not exist. There was a time not so long ago where WhatsApp did not exist. And same thing for KFC. So all of these things that we regularly use at some point in time did not exist. And somebody thought this up, dreamed this up, and now pretty much everybody in the world is using this idea that started in somebody's head. And that is a phenomenal, awesome thing that you can dream something up, design something, in your head, and that thing become part of everybody's life and reality to the place where they probably can't imagine life without it. Many of us couldn't imagine life without TV. Some of us couldn't imagine life without KFC. Maybe we should fact for some, I don't know. And pretty much each of us are probably in 1,000 different WhatsApp groups. So ideas can change the way people live and help them live better and achieve more. And that's the beauty and the power of entrepreneurship. So let's bear that in mind. Now, I want to give you a tool that you can use to generate ideas or at least begin discussion and brainstorming about what possible product can I create or dream up that people would want to use in a way that they use WhatsApp or eat KFC or watch TV. What can I bring to the table that is so unique, so different, but so desired across the world? Those are the things we want to begin to find out how to go about doing that. And this Pies tool is just one of the tools I want to show you that you can consider in generating business ideas and product ideas. So Pies here is a little misleading. It has nothing to do with food actually, but Pies is really an acronym for four drivers that you kind of use to generate ideas for business. So let's kind of dive it in. So Pies looks at the four fundamental human needs that we all have, right? We all have physical needs. We all have intellectual needs. We all have emotional needs. We all have social needs. So no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the world, we all have these basic needs. And the principle here is that if you can develop an idea, a product, or service that kind of meets the human needs, that's how you kind of build products that people want to use. So let's start from the top and look at some physical needs. So what do you think some physical needs are that we all have? I'll pause to pretend you're answering the question. So for example, we all need shelter. It's a physical need. We need clothes. Again, those are physical needs. We need food. All those are needs that we have. We can't kind of do without. You know, medical care. Again, all these are physical needs. Exercise. Grooming. All these are different ideas are different things that relate to the physical part of our lives that we need. But we also have intellectual needs. We need to think. So maybe we want to read books. We may have different games that stir our thoughts, to make us think, like Scrabble. I love Scrabble, by the way. So it might be information being given to us. It might be like this example is an intellectual experience where I'm teaching something and you are learning from me. So this class, this environment is you meeting an intellectual need as well. But we're not only physical, we're not only intellectual, we're also emotional. We have feelings. We want to feel special. We want to feel safe. We want to feel secure. We want to feel happy. So certain environments, certain games, make us feel happy. We play video games, for example, as a product that we can use. Sometimes we want to listen to music. Again, that meets an emotional need. The arts, stories and poems. All those kind of meet emotional needs that we have. And all these are products that can be created to meet the emotional side of human beings. And then there's social. I think COVID really reminded us how important social is. Sometimes before you take it for granted, you go by a friend, you're going to chill out, take it for granted. But now you can't do it. You realize how much you desire to meet people, just hang out and chill. You realize how much you miss hugging, people and that kind of stuff. So the reason why this pie is so powerful is because humans will always have these four needs. And if you can develop products or services that cater to these four needs in a way that's affordable, as well as desirable to them, you would always be in business. Because the core idea about business and making money is that it's not primarily about you doing just instead to make money. Money is like the benefit, or the what I'm looking for, the consequence of what you're doing. Your aim is to meet somebody's need, and if you meet somebody's need, they will pay you money for it. So once you are or solve somebody's problem. So once you are very clear on what the problem you're trying to solve is, once you're very clear on what the need you're trying to meet is, and you can do that in a way that is affordable for them and desirable for them, you have done a great deal in the journey of making a product or service that people would want to use for the rest, of the customer life cycle. Now, if your business can solve at least three needs, at least two needs, a maximum three needs, the stronger your product has of surviving. So if it only meets one need, people will buy it, but it probably may not stick as such. So, for example, Barbados is a good example. So we all know Chefette, right? A billion or one Chefettes, in this small little rock. But regardless, when you drive it in Chefette, it's pretty much burst off, either inside or long lines for the drive-in. Why is that? Well, think about it. Let's look at the Chefette business through the pies lens. Now, how many needs can you see Chefette solves? I'll pause. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's a little cheesy. So, Chefette solves at least three of the four needs that we have here. So let's talk it through. One is the physical need, which is the obvious. You go there for food, and it's decent. It's not gourmet, but it tastes good. It's consistent, decent flavor. So they solve the physical need. But you know what? Beyond the physical need, they also solve an emotional need too. I mean, think about it this way: for us who have kids, and you going there, take the kids there. You know, the kids are happy, so you're happy too. You know, there's a play park that they can go and play in. So you as a parent may get a little brief time just to chill, you know, and relax, and they're in a safe environment, having fun and squealing at the top of their voices, you know, that kind of stuff. So they're safe, they're happy. You're getting a 5 minute, 10 minute break for yourself. That's an emotional need. So I mean, that's emotional satisfaction that you get. So rest for you, and some fun for your children, right? So beyond the food, which is physical, there's also an emotional need that Chefette solves. But even beyond that, they also solve a social need, because many times, you know, you may meet people there and you go and eat food and you stop, but after eating you're chilling, you're talking, you're socializing, you're linking together. So the physical environment, because it's decent, it's clean, it's aesthetically nice, it's spacious, it allows for social interaction, it allows for emotional interaction, which kind of ties back into the social interaction. It allows for physical needs being met. So because Chefette meets three of these four needs so well, they stick. They stick. You know, some of the other oh, I wouldn't go there. But Chefette does what they do very well, and because of that, they really do thrive in the market. So your homework for me is this: I want you to choose a one of these three spaces, either underwater, space, or a volcano. And I want you to imagine that a friend of yours has to live either underwater, live in space, or live in a volcano. And remember, they have these four needs. What product or service would you design to make their life comfortable? How would you meet their physical needs, intellectual needs, emotional needs, or social needs if they're underwater, if they're in space, or if they're living in a volcano? So next time we meet, I want we're able to hear that you kind of thought through that and gave those answers to Shelly, and then she can give it to me, and I can see where your thoughts are at. But this kind of brainstorming, this kind of thinking is what generates new ideas, and but not just new ideas for ideas' sake, but ideas that really meet the needs of the market. So Pi is a very powerful tool to generate new ideas that actually have traction with your potential customers, right? So, so there's very few startups die due to competition. Most die because they fail to make something customers love. Like the quote, your job is to build something that users would love, right? So it's not just about doing anything, it's about doing something that customers like, customers love. And customers love what solves or meets their needs. So once you understand the need of your customer well, and sometimes even better themselves, then it gives you the power to design products and services that meet those needs in ways that customers didn't even dream of, and it gives you the competitive edge in the market. Yeah. So another powerful way of coming up with ideas for new products, new services as an entrepreneur is a concept called jobs to be done. And with this, you got to think about it a little differently, yeah? So ask the question, what is the customer trying to get done in their work or in their own lives? Now, it can include, you know, tasks he's trying to perform, or problems she's trying to solve, or needs she's trying to satisfy, like similar how we looked at our pie needs. You know, what is a customer trying to do? And once you understand the job that they want done, and we'll go into this a little deeper with some examples, then it helps you to shape your product or service in a way that really begins to answer that question. So when we're doing this, we're not focusing at first on product or service. We try to understand what are they trying to achieve as a customer, what what they're trying to do, what problems do they have, what frustrates them, or what they want to achieve, what will make them think I got it done, you know, and then we begin to design products around that. So let's look a little deeper. One of the reasons why we want to consider jobs to be done and not products per se is because jobs last and products don't. So let's take a look at this diagram here. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures, right? Now, what is the one job that all these try to achieve? So first we have the gramophone. We have the gramophone. We have a Walkman. We have the CD player. We have iPod, and we got Spotify. Now all these do one thing, and that's help people with the job of listening to music. But notice that the way that they did it changed over the years, but the job remained the same. Humans want to listen to music. That remains the same. What has changed is the way people have done it. And once you can understand what's the core job a human wants, then you can begin to generate different kind of products that helps your customers get that particular job that you're not tied down to a particular product. You could imagine if the guy with the CD saying, I'm a CD maker, I don't make anything but CDs. So the iPod came, he'd be out of business. Why? Because he, in his mind, he thought he was a CD player maker. No, he's not a CD player maker. He's not in the business of making CDs. He's in the business of helping customers listen to music by whatever means necessary. And that's how an entrepreneur thinks. They don't think about I make chairs or I make a particular product. No, they understand what is my customer trying to achieve, and then let's make a product that does that. So it's not about making chairs, it's about they want to recline, they want to relax. So yeah, chairs might be it for now, but you know what? In 30 years' time, it might be something very different. And if you don't understand what the need and the job that you're trying to achieve, you always be thinking that you're a chair maker, and then you find yourself out of business, out of work, out of entrepreneurship. So it's a very key way of viewing your customer. So let me give you a really interesting case study with this whole way of thinking about jobs to be done. So this fast food restaurant, fast food joint, they wanted to increase the sales of their milkshakes, and they hired a consultant to come in to find out, well, how could we really improve the sales of our milkshakes. So he did what most consultants would do a focus group, ask the question. So people say, you know what, I want more chocolate, I want more strawberries, I want less money, and the customer gave their ideas. So the company then went to implement all the stuff that the customer said, and over 6 months they realized sales didn't increase. So they could understand, because in their mind they did everything that the customers wanted, and still they couldn't understand why their sales were increasing. So they hired a different consultant. He took an extremely different approach. So what he did is he didn't ask any questions. He went to the restaurant and he observed them, on the more. So he got there and realized that they bought milkshakes before 8 o'clock. They were always alone. When they would drive in and drive out and buy that milkshake and head off and stuff. So he really began to observe what they were doing, because he wanted to ask a different question. He wanted to ask the question, why were customers hiring milkshakes? What was the job that a customer had that made them go and buy a milkshake, that they figure a milkshake would get that job done? That's a very different way of viewing products, right? So that's what he asked. And he realized that many of these guys had to drive a long distance to work. So they would stop by the fast food joint, buy the milkshake, and drive off, because what it would do is kind of like, for lack of words, keep them company on that long commute. Those of you who have traveled or just watch movies, you see sometimes people traveling miles for work, to and from, hour of commuting, whatever. And this was their way of killing time and also getting something in the stomach during that commute. That was the job that the customers were trying to get done by buying a milkshake. Now, when they understood the job, they were then able to make modifications to the product that caused sales to go up to the roof. So, for example, think about it. If somebody is hiring a milkshake because they want it to keep them company, so to speak, and kill time and put something in the stomach between, there and work, what will you do to make that job better? One thing, you make this straw smaller so that they can't drink it too quickly. Remember, they want it to last in length. You make this milkshake thicker. You may add some chunks in it. So, but if you didn't know what the job was, you would not know how to improve it. You would just kind of simply say, well, let me drop prices. And that's what we tend to do, is drop prices. But, everything's not about dropping prices. Something is about understanding really clearly what the needs are, and then making sure your product really hits those sweet spots. And you might find people are willing to spend more money with you because you understand what their needs are and you design your product in a way that really hits those sweet spots. So it's not always about dropping price. Sometimes it's about just knowing what the job is that your customer wants to get done, and asking them, so why do you buy this? A good way of finding out that answer is something called the 5 whys. So you ask them why 5 times. Why did you buy this? And they would say, because I was thirsty. Why are you hungry at this time? And you ask them 5 different whys, and you really get to the root issue of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve, or what their particular problem is, and then you can have a better understanding of your customer, and then you can begin to really design your product in a way that really meets their needs. But this brings in another point that's pretty interesting. So once you know what the job is that the customer is trying to get done, then you begin to look at what is your competition a little differently. So, for example, if I make, I don't know, let's say I make let's use the example. So with those guys, because they want something to kind of keep them, tie them over on their commute, they could have also hired a banana. They could have hired a Twix, a bagel. They could have hired a donut. But those things probably would have done the job as well, because a banana would go kind of quickly. Donuts might get the clothes dirty before work. So, but mind you, the competition are not just other milkshakes. It's anything that they can buy to get the job done. So, if you make juices, for example, you're thinking, the only make the competition, other guys who make juices. No, people who do water, who sell water, are also your competition. People who might sell tea also are your competition, because the job is not about juice. The job is maybe quenching thirst or feeling good or being healthy. So who is your competition changes when you understand what the job is your customer is really trying to achieve. So again, if you look at it, so people hire products to do jobs for them. So those drivers hired a milkshake. Students can hire Microsoft to create, a document. And when you understand what the job is, you could then bring new ideas to the market, and that's how you come to be different from other people. So for example, if you want to have, let's say that somebody wants a job of having kind of a nice lawn, now that can be done a few ways. So one way might be, yes, to cut lawn and that kind of stuff. The other way might be to sell people manicured lawns that when you put it down, that's it. You know what I mean? So it really gives you a tool to kind of think about really creative ways of creating new products and new services that are different from your competitors. And jobs are not only physical jobs. They also emotional jobs or social jobs. So, the example of that. Let's say you have two cars. You have a Suzuki Swift and you have an Audi. Now, the job of getting from point A to point B, both of those do the exact same thing. No difference there. But the reason why somebody buys an Audi is because I have other jobs they want done. They want the job of feeling accepted, or the job of fitting into a particular group, the job of looking, that they've arrived, or whatever the case may be. So these are emotional needs or emotional jobs that they are hiring this product for. So people don't only buy products just because the basics. People also buy products because of how it can make them feel, how it can make them look, how it can make them feel they belong to a wider community. People who use Apple, don't only use Apple because it's a great product, but also they feel good about to belong to a community of Apple lovers. And so I'm pretty sure the same way among Android users, for example. So needs are being done, excuse me, needs are being met are not only physical needs or obvious needs, but there are sometimes emotional needs and mental needs. And when you understand that your customer wants to feel special, then what, it's not just about me delivering clothes to her on Instagram. No, it's also about me putting a little card with the clothes saying, "Thank you so much for your business, really, really appreciate whatever." And that little extra touch can make you stand out from all the other IG stores that are there, just for example. But it's really understanding what the needs are, what the jobs are that need to get done. Now, let's kind of look at a product, for example. So let's say we have a pencil, right? That's your product. You make pencils. Now, every product has different layers attached to it, and you need to understand what those layers are and what the core benefits are, what the actual product is, and what the augmented product is. So let's say that you make pencils, for example. The core benefit of pencil is that it writes. So the core benefit of product is the bare basic it's supposed to do. So cell phones are supposed to make phone calls. Chairs are supposed to keep you up, not fall down when you sit in them. Bed supposed to keep you. So they're core things that it's supposed to do. If it does not do that core thing, nobody would buy it, right? So that's the level. That's the core. But that's not where the real competition happens. Competition happens and innovation happens in the other areas where we call the actual product. Now let's say again a pencil, for example. You have your pencil, but then what features do you have? It might be a feature on the pencil. For example, that the eraser, doesn't break very easy, or it might be a case where you really have a really good quality to it, so it's not cheap like others and stuff. And that's where you begin to make little differences to your product, to your service, in a way that makes you stand out. You need to have a particular brand name, for your company that is different from others. You design it, you package it in a way the level of quality is high. You think about the features. That area is where you really begin to distinguish yourself from other players in the market, other companies that are doing the same thing as you. Problem we have a lot of times is that even when you see it with drinks, with people who doing natural juices, they don't go beyond the core benefit. So there's no reason why I would choose this guy over that guy. They all look the same, all looks the same, all the same. There's no differentiation, no specialty at all. So why would I choose you over him? If I happen to be driving here and he's there, I just go to him because there's nothing special about him. But when you begin to think, well, probably, if I when I select an actual juice, I can give the person like 2 or 3 ideas about our tips about what the ingredients do for the body. So they say, boss man, I want cucumber, and a ginger. And you say, fine, but ginger does X, just Y, and does Z, and you show that you know some knowledge about the product. That's saying different and distinct. People may come back to you because you're not just selling them a drink, you give them a drink as well as information. Yeah? So it's those things that really, and if you want to take it even further, and make yourself stand out, is where you look at the augmented product, which is like the things like, for example, if you're selling clothes, for example, You don't think that when they buy clothes from you, that's the end of the relationship. 3 or 4 months later, you call them back and you ask them, how is it fitting you? Are you enjoying it? And then you let them know at the same time. And blue looked really good. You could keep a record of what they bought and say blue looked really good on you. Have you considered other colors like this? Trust me, when you begin to show that you are different and you have aftercare after the sale, people remember that stuff, man. Or even your delivery of the product. So those are the areas where you really have power to create products that are powerful, loved, and different from other players in the market. So I hope that today's lesson was helpful, where you can go and then look at your pies framework, and I want you to think about a product that you can create for a friend of yours who lives underwater, that lives in a volcano and lives in space. I also want you to think about a product you have in mind and see if you can use this tool here, and you can tell me what features would make you different. What brand name would you want to have? How would you package it? Would you have any after sales? Would you do any delivery? How would you do it? Really dream about a product, and see if you can pick out elements of this tool here, and let me hear what it is you come up with. So really looking forward to hear you. I'm seeing you next week, and I hope you enjoyed the session. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to get them to me through Shelly. So have a good day, guys. Bye bye.